Wherever you are and however you are listening, thank you for being back with us on another episode of the Virtual Jam Podcast. Today, we talk about my trip to Florida where I got to go to the BITAC Independent, stay at the Ritz Carlton in Amelia Island. If you're a fan of the episode, you know we love BITAC. We're going to talk all about it, give you the rundown, and if you're interested, reach out to us and we will get you set up with the BITAC team so you can go experience an event for yourself.
Okay, welcome back to the VGM podcast. Today, we are on season 2, episode 17.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy. So yeah, enjoy the episode.
Well, we can tell what we're going to talk about.
No, I thought that's what you say.
Yeah, I give a recap, but are you going to lean into the segue or usually you say, Cody and
yeah,
Megan here?
It's been a month. Sorry, guys. What are we talking about today? Oh, Cody goes to BITAC.
And
Should be a fun episode.
Maybe we'll get into a segue first.
Yeah.
You want to go?
Sure. Personal, let's see. Since the last time we recorded, we went to my family reunion in Mount Hood.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
So since then, so we went to Portland and took the kids, did some really fun things. We went to the zoo there.
Yeah, the Portland Zoo is amazing.
Yeah, the best zoo I've ever been to.
Yeah, it's actually in the forest and it's like a circle. So you just follow the path. You don't have to worry about where you're going to see the animals. And there's so much activity.
So much
all the animals were alive. We saw polar bears chewing on the ice, and then those little bear cubs.
The bear cubs.
Black bear cubs that were playful and playing with each other. It was just it was unreal.
Yeah, it was incredible. So that was my personal business. I'm attending the Greater Zion Enhancement Training next week with Emily.
Hey-o. Did anyone else sign up for that too, or is it just you two?
I think it's just us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. So my segue, personal, I've been in a fantasy football league for 17 years with a group of buddies from high school. We're kind of spread out all over the place now. And for 10 years, we've gotten together for a fantasy football weekend where we spend Friday and Saturday together. We always do a golf tournament, and then we do our fantasy draft on Saturday, and we just had that in Lake Powell. So that was awesome. Played an amazing golf course out in Page. That was beautiful, great conditions, awesome views of Lake Powell. It was very cool. And then for business, what today's episode is about, I went to BITAC. So if you're an avid listener of the show, you've heard us talk about BITAC many times. Certainly an event that you should go to. I'm excited to get Megan to an event in 2025.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Emily had the chance to go. She went to operations this year. And for this one, it was the Independent, which is great. Obviously, that's an awesome space for us to be in. And I'll kind of give the rundown of BITAC. So if you've listened to a BITAC episode before, this is one you don't necessarily have to listen to because it's kind of be a recap. But if you haven't, I think it's really cool to hear. If you're an event planner or you do events, they do so many things that are awesome. So first off, when you get in the day that you arrive, they have a networking event that they do that night. And what's so cool about it is if you've ever been to a networking event, it's a little bit awkward.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
If you don't know anybody, it can be real uncomfortable. You're just walking into a room full of strangers. And usually at an event like this, there's always people who do know people. And so it's easy for them. And so you can very much just be kind of standing on the sidelines Yeah. And I don't love that. But BITAC does, which is so cool, is one, they always give back to the community. So when you arrive, they give you 5 cards with your picture on it and then your descriptions. And in this particular event, I'm a buyer, so I've got a white lanyard, and the people who are there to sell stuff have a blue lanyard, so you know who's on what side of the playing field. And then you have to change your cards with people. So white lanyards have to change it with blue lanyards. And so it makes it easy to start a conversation with someone.
It's pretty brilliant.
Yes. And then what they do is for every card you turn in, they donate $25 to a charity. So it's
you have incentive to really actually exchange those cards.
Right. So you've got a reason to do it. And then it's easy because then I can just see you have a blue lanyard on, walk up and say, oh, let's change cards. And then...
But are you doing a spill? Are you hey, I'm with Vibrant. This is what we do. Are you guys selling each other? Or is it just no. You're kind of hey, let's...
You're just trying to get through your cards, Okay. You're trying to get your 5, but it just opens the door where it doesn't feel awkward to walk into a conversation. Because even if other people are talking, you can approach and be like, hey, do you guys have any cards left,
Oh, you just interrupt?
Well, you got to, you're just going to stand there and wait forever.
I don't know. I would.
And so it just allows you to start that dialogue and have that conversation in a meaningful way. And then you get into it, and then you always ask, what do you do and all that good stuff. And so it's a great way to get the night started.
Yeah.
And what was awesome is that this particular one, shout out Michael from Ecolab. First off, Ecolab's colors are like this, like nice, like royal bright blue. And homeboy had on an Ecolab suit.
No.
In their colors with like an Ecolab pin, and then he had custom Ecolab shoes.
Wow.
So like totally my kind of guy. Like I love a good outfit.
Okay, you got to do that.
Love a good I know, I was jealous.
A yellow one.
I know, right? And then I would wear, I just need a black and yellow suit, and I could wear these with it.
Let's do it.
Look at that, props.
Yeah.
If you're not watching, I just pulled out some awesome black and yellow Jordans. But so he came up and he was like, "Hey, I just want to tell you I loved your book." And so he read Winning the Moment, which
That's
is so cool and really like it made a difference for him. And he's like, "Oh, I wish I knew you were going to be here. I would have brought a copy for you to sign." And so we haven't sent it yet.
Good reminder. Send book to Michael.
Michael, if you're listening, I'm sorry. We went to the post office and then I realized I forgot the bracelets. And so we will get that to you. But that was just super cool. And I think that shows like what kind of community BITAC is. Because I think I met Michael at sales and marketing earlier in the year. But that was like our only interaction. And he went out of his way, purchased the book, read the book.
That's really cool.
I've got, in fact, Kyle, those of you who listen know Kyle used to be our social media manager. He just messaged me and he's doing 75 hard.
Oh, cool.
And so he said, "I'll finally get to read your book."
Oh my gosh.
So he's a good friend of mine. He's had the book for almost 2 years.
That's okay. Right time.
Yeah. You read it when it's right for you.
Yeah.
But then you go, you have a really nice dinner. And the other thing that BITAC does that's so great, because usually what would happen is if you had a little networking event and then you like find a couple people you enjoy talking to, then you'll go sit down with them at dinner and you'll probably just latch onto that group of people throughout the trip because it's easier.
Totally. It's comfortable.
Yes. Yeah. And so they give you table assignments every night for every meal you have. So then you go to dinner and it's like, okay, I'm at table 6. And then you sit down. And so now you're again introduced to 5 new people. And of course you go around the table and introduce yourselves. And so I met a great lady from Georgia and had a fun conversation with her and got to enjoy that dinner. And then the next day you go up. The first thing they had, they always do at breakfast, same way. You get an assigned table and then they'll do like an icebreaker. Where are you from? Or when did you have your first job? And so it starts like a dialogue in the table too. And they also say like start from the right side and work around. So no one has to feel like who's going to go first. Oh.
They really thought about this. That's nice. There's some other people that should.
I know. If you're an event person, listen to this. It's amazing. And it's also smaller. So I like to say we went to the hospitality show in Vegas last year, which was huge. And probably 3,000-ish people. But I didn't make any new relationships.
That's a lot of people.
Outside of people I was introduced to from existing relationships, right? Like we met the Visit BC people because of Audrey Stash, but there was no like opportunity to start a new conversation with someone that wouldn't just be so awkward.
Right.
So we had a breakfast and then they always do like a keynote and they did this awesome panel and it was independent. So the panel was super relevant and really interesting. And what was so cool is there was the founder of The Neighborhood, which is a collection of hotels that are in metropolitan neighborhoods. And they are fully operating on virtual GM.
Really?
Like they use Akia. They do use Muse instead of WebRes. And Muse is another great PMS. Shout out Austin. But they use Muse. They use Akia. They answer the phones. They use the smart locks. Like
very cool.
Fully operating. And so I tried to connect with him at the event. And we passed each other, but he was on the call. I was like, "Oh, I want to talk to you," but we never got back around to it. But so look up The Neighborhood. I think they have 4 different properties up in the Northeast. Really, really cool and awesome to hear someone else is like organically doing the exact same thing we're doing in a different capacity.
Totally.
All branded. So then you go and then you have like your speed dating session. So
speed dating,
essentially, that's what it is, where you get to kind of say what you're interested in, what you're looking for. And then they set you up with vendors. And so there's like, that's probably an hour and a half-ish of time where you go to a different table for 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And so you sit down, they're able to give you their spiel. And then if it makes sense, of course, you'll connect outside of it. And then they give you breaks. You go do lunch, come back, do the same thing. And what I love is that they give you time in the afternoon because they always say like, why would you come to an amazing place like Amelia Island? And then you get home and your friends and family like, I'm so jealous.
And you're like I was in a conference room all day long.
You went to Florida. How was it? And you're like, I don't know. I took an Uber to the hotel and never left. And so they make sure to give you time to actually get out and experience the area. And they also put us, like we're at the Ritz Carlton in Amelia Island. They put you in amazing hotels because that's the industry we're in, know? And this particular hotel was on the beach at a beautiful, beautiful beach. And so that day I went to the beach, walked along the beach, went and had a drink at the pool bar with Jason from Hover. And then that night they do their game night, which is so fun. Same thing. You come down. It's not like you just get to pick who you want to play games with.
They
randomly pair you with colors.
Smart.
And then so again on my team, I met a whole bunch of new people that I had yet to really interact with. And then not only are you having new relationships, but you're building camaraderie because you're playing these games together and you're trying to win because you want to get on the podium. And so they just do such a great job. And then the next day is very much the same kind of format. And then that afternoon I went and I got to go play golf with Jason from Hover, Edmund from,
mattress.
I want to say it's Ortho Mattress. And then a gentleman who owns a hotel in Nova Scotia.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that he was dying.
Oh, because the heat?
Yeah. I thought he was going to die, literally.
Oh,
he
gosh.
lives in Nova Scotia and it was so freaking hot and humid. And I think I was wearing like a shirt like this, a cotton shirt. And I was dying because I wasn't ready to play golf.
You live in the desert where it's super hot.
His face was completely red. And
That's
just an
awful.
older guy, but he was the best golfer of all of us. Had a half swing. He was awesome.
Wow.
So really cool to play their golf course there. So overall, just a great experience. Met a couple of great companies. If you've listened to our episode, we had Jason from Hover on. You've seen the demos of Hover. What do you think
Incredible.
of it?
Yeah. Super cool. Because when you explained it to me, I'm not the super visual person.
Yeah.
So actually seeing it and demoing it on the website, it's amazing.
Yeah, we did a demo for the dwellings, and now we've been showing that to all of our different clients and how it brings to life the experience of your property with embedded video is amazing. And so we were able to secure special pricing with them for Vibrant clients. I've been showing like all of our clients on the calls throughout the week and setting up all those intros, and it's just been awesome. So of course that relationship was great. I met Cloud5, who's an awesome like IT support company. And I think they're going to be able to do some really awesome stuff for us. I met a cool company called Lather, so like soaps and shampoos and like all of those amenities. And here's a fascinating thing that I learned. So I was like, do you do the refillables? And they're like, oh, yeah, we can, but we don't like to do that.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh, tell me more. And they're like, think about how gross that is. Like, think about how weird people are. Do you really want a soap that can just be unscrewed?
True.
Think about what people could put. Think how weird people are. Think about what you could put in someone's soap or in the shampoo in the shower. And they were like, also like cleaners will clean the bathroom and then use the rag to unscrew it, or maybe even like clean off the tube, and then you put it back in there, but you've just cleaned the bathroom with the rag. And then
okay, that's so gross.
Yeah, right. I was like,
Ew.
whoa, you guys are blowing my mind. So they have these unopenable containers, so it's safe. They cannot be opened, but their branding is really good, and it's got a little clear thing down the side so you can see when it needs to be replaced, when it's empty.
Oh, interesting.
But that way no one could mess with it.
Yeah, but then what? You waste some, Then you're having to replace it during people's stays?
Well, no, because you would be able to see if it's going to be.
But if you can't open it and then you're like, you have some in the bottom.
Yeah, but there's a clear line all the way down the thing so you can see how much is left.
Right.
So yeah, you may have a little bit more waste, but wouldn't you rather have a little bit more waste than be concerned about if someone put...
I'd rather just not think about it and just think it's all sanitary.
It's not. But I never thought about that before.
Yeah, I didn't
in my
either.
mind, refillables were like so much better.
Yeah. Interesting.
So Lather was awesome, really cool branding. And then I met this textile company that had started in the 1700s.
Wait, what?
Yeah, been operated by the same family the entire time.
Wow.
But like officially in business in 1823. So they just celebrated their 300th year in business.
How is that possible?
Yeah, back from Europe,
Wow.
And so that was amazing. They were both from France, so they had to really focus to understand what the hell they were saying,
Really?
And they're very quiet spoken, but they were both great. And so they can do like custom robes and things like that and custom towels. So I sent the contact info to Emily because we could maybe do like custom dwellings towels
Oh, cool.
for the pool,
Yeah.
But how cool is that
It is
to have a
cool.
business for 300 years?
I mean, that's remarkable.
It was like the coolest thing ever.
That is
you know?
so cool.
So anyways, BITAC's an amazing event. It's something I highly recommend. If you're in this space, you got to get to it. I keep telling Audrey from Stash, like, you guys need to be a vendor. Like, Independent would have been such a great opportunity for you. And so if you're interested, if you want to reach out to us, because it's easier, I can connect you with BITAC and see if we can get you there, whether you're on the buyer side or the seller side. It truly is, I think, the most worthwhile event that you can go to leave with meaningful relationships and just find out what's going on in the industry, learn great stuff. So you reach out to me, Cody at thevibrantteam.com. I'd love to set you up with the BITAC people. They actually sold it too. They sold the business.
Oh, really? Recently?
Yeah, Rich and Jay sold it, but they're being retained to stay on. But super cool for them. I mean, they've really built something amazing.
Yeah. Well, and I love how they do it different. Like, not every conference is the same, right? It's for different people. Like, how Emily went to
operations,
right,
which is perfect for her.
Right.
You know, and
so you can really pick and choose which ones are actually.
And she's made she's got a bunch of great relationships. In fact, Talzy AI, who's an AI tool that actually was founded here in Utah by Logan. So I got to meet Logan, and we use them at Cliff Dwellers. Right. And so then I just set him up with Brian from Utah Luxury Tours because he was looking for a chat feature. And so just amazing the connections you can make. And then I got to meet Steve Bracety from Grace Hospitality, who used to work with Cliff Dwellers. And that was an awesome connection to make. And so it's amazing how small the world is.
Yeah, totally.
You know, you show up at an event, there's a couple people you kind of know through connection that you would have never realized otherwise. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for being with us. That was episode 17 of the Virtual GM podcast. Be sure to like and listen, subscribe, and we will see you next week.